I'm Amy Maislin Mitchell, and what you just heard are merely two examples of the important work that ADL does in Austin. My parents endowed the Raymond and Audrey Maislin Humanitarian Award to acknowledge an individual, organization, or family for work in furthering greater harmony and cooperation in our communities. My dear friends, John and Joe Ivester, this year's recipients engender all of the personal qualities and leadership that my parents envisioned when they created this award. Joe and John are two incredibly intelligent and dedicated individuals who met while performing Shakespeare at MIT. I tell you that truthfully, it is true. When you see them, you'll see there's quite a height difference. Joe does it all. Professional civil engineer with an MBA from Stanford, former professor, mother of 4 children and their spouses, all of whom are here this evening, and grandmother to one very lucky granddaughter. She is now an acclaimed author and speaker for a cause that she has devoted much of her life to, civil rights and justice for all. John is a much beloved and successful co-founder of Silicon Laboratories and is a past president of Ballet Austin, where he led the board to great success. John is an incredible leader, as I can tell you from firsthand experience, who inspires co-workers and co-volunteers to do a great job. John and Joe, my parents and I, and your family, friends, and co-workers who have joined us here tonight to honor you, all feel so fortunate to be a part of your lives.
Sometimes the way we change the world isn't through these enormous things that we do, but it is the way that we live our lives and the way that we touch the lives of those around us. I can't imagine John or Joe ever being in a situation where the people around them were not very much in awe of the kind of people that they are, the values that they not only hold but live.
They're not just interested in helping with the arts organizations, but they have helped with educational organizations like Junior Achievement and the K2K Harmon Foundation.
I knew John very early. He was one of the leaders and chaired the board of the Red Cross and took the Red Cross through some difficult times.
So John has been an integral part of building one of the great technology stories in Austin. He was there at the beginning. He helped us to put together our whole manufacturing strategy and was part of the management team for the last 19 years.
The value that I would think that would best exemplify Joe and John would be honesty, integrity, vision,
equality and fairness and compassion to others.
They're fighters. They are committed. They are caring.
They understand what we need to do in this world to make it better, and they work together as a team in order to do that.
I think they're driven on the basis of really making life better for others as well, not just for them.
Their role is not only to take care of their family, but also to take care of the Austin community and make it a better place to live.
Well, it's easy, I think, to understand why equality and fairness and justice are important to Jo, given the background that she has. And now all the world knows because of the book that she's written. They were instilled by her mother and the life experiences she had growing up as a child.
She saw the discrimination that really occurred primarily with African Americans back in Mississippi, and actually portraying it such that we could see the challenges that existed during that time.
They are fortunate and lucky and blessed to be in a position where they can help affect change, where they can reach people.
On a personal level, John was a huge mentor for me. He's always somebody that you can go to and ask for advice. Both he and Joe live their lives in a way that is more than just about themselves, but is really about making the world a better place, making the company a better place, making everyone around them better.
John and Joe, congratulations.
John and Joe, I want to say congratulations. There are no two people that I know that deserve this award more than you.
You're great human beings. You're great people.
I wish you the best in your continued aspirations within society and your influence within society.
We're so proud to be your friends. We're so proud of the way that you live your lives and the way that you have contributed so deeply to our community.
Congratulations, my friends.
God bless.
Congratulations.
Please join me in congratulating our 2016 Raymond and Audrey Maislin Humanitarian Award honorees, Joe and John Iveson.
Have to move these down quite low. A special thank you, Amy, for your very sweet introduction. The video that we just watched has left me speechless, and those of you who know me know that that's hard to do. I'm glad I've got my remarks written out because I'm choked up and teary and so appreciative of those of you here in this room. It's a remarkable group, and so many of you who have done so much for Austin, and to hear your comments is overwhelming. So rather than trying to speak without my notes, I'm gonna go ahead and read. Amy, your introduction was beautiful. When we first met around 10 years ago, John and I appreciated you as a friend, and John respected you as a colleague. As we learned of your connection with ADL, it became obvious why. We shared some very important values. We are especially proud to receive an award endowed by your parents, Ray and Audrey Maislin, two truly incredible people who embody everything that the ADL stands for. We are a bit overwhelmed to be honored by this organization that we admire so deeply. And we are humbled to be recognized at the same event as Jeannie and Mickey Klein, whose work in the Austin community is nothing short of amazing. We're thrilled to be joined by many of John's colleagues from Silicon Lab and by so many friends, old and new. We're especially pleased to be joined by our family, gathered from around the country. Our 4 children and our son and daughter-in-law are here with us tonight from Dallas and Colorado, and my stepmother, Audrey Reed, and Audrey's brother, Pedrito, flew in from the West Coast earlier today. I was raised in a political environment. My father grew up in a Jewish socialist family in the 1920s and 1930s. My mother was raised to believe that we should always help those in need. In the 1960s, when my father decided that our family would live those values by moving to the poverty-stricken Mississippi Delta so he could manage a clinic there, my grandmother, my mother's mother, objected. My mother reminded her of the childhood lessons she had been taught when my grandmother said, "You must help people." My grandmother, not wanting us to leave Boston, said, "Well, yes, but you weren't supposed to keep believing that once you grew up." Fortunately for me, my mother ignored those later words, and our family moved to the poorest area of the country, proudly joining President Johnson's war on poverty. I've been told by many of my mother's former students and my father's former patients and colleagues that my parents and my family helped them tremendously, but we gained far more than we gave. Our move to Mississippi when I was 10 years old instilled in me a resiliency that has stayed with me ever since. I learned that I could throw myself into new situations with people very different from myself and not only survive, but flourish. More than that, I recognized early on by watching my parents that one family, one individual can make a difference. And it's not only the big picture battles that must be fought in the realm of equal rights for all. It's also the small daily gestures, speaking up when we see someone being bullied, reaching out to someone who has few friends because he or she looks different or wears different clothes or speaks a different language. And you know, it's not just that this is the right thing to do. When we reach out, we may find ourselves with new friends, people about whom we care deeply and who make a difference in our lives. My passion for this fight is not just philosophical, but also personal. As a child, I was excluded from some places and some activities because I am Jewish. My dad and his wife faced discrimination as an integrated couple. My nephews were raised hearing the unfortunately necessary cautions about how to conduct themselves in a white world to avoid getting into trouble or even killed. Other family members have had to fight for their rights due to sexual orientation and identity. One brother is gay, one sister is lesbian, and our son is transgender. Yes, this is personal. It's critically important for us all to speak out about this openly, to tell our stories. When we do, we help others to understand and grow familiar. And with that familiarity comes acceptance. I am fortunate to have by my side a husband who cares equally about these issues. Somehow, I was clever enough at 19 years old to figure out what a good man John Ivester is. Not only has he supported me in my effort to raise awareness about racial and gender issues, he has grown passionate about the issues himself. And I'm now very happy to have John join you for some more comments.
Thank you, Joe. You know, it's always great to have nice things said about you just before you walk up to the microphone. But it's really special when the person that's making those comments is the love of your life. And so thank you very much, Joe. So, as Joe said, she came to her appreciation of really the foundational beliefs of the Anti-Defamation League through her childhood experiences and through parents who were personally dedicated to repairing the world and furthering the cause of equality for all Americans. I'll admit that I came to understand this cause more gradually through my adult experiences as a business leader and as a parent. And those experiences taught me that those basic lessons from my parents, lessons on fairness and respect and equality and love, were both more absolute and more subtle than I had realized. I realized that fairness doesn't just occur at the level of the individual, it occurs at the system level. And that justice must be, thank you, justice must be measured by outcomes, not just by process or intent. And fundamentally, that the way to create a better world for my grandchild and my grandchildren is to help build a world that is better for everyone's grandchildren. As Joe suggested, our commitment to equality and justice is anchored in our personal relationships, our multiracial families, our friends and co-workers of color, and our close friends and family members who span the sexual and gender identity spectrum. We love and care about these friends and families as individuals, and this love requires that we fight against any discrimination that they may face based on who they are or who they love. We are truly inspired in this fight by Ray and Audrey, for whom this Humanitarian Award is named. Through their generosity, each honoree is given the opportunity to direct a $1,000 contribution to a nonprofit organization of their choice. Joe and I have selected the Equality Texas Foundation, which of course advocates for and educates the public about LGBT issues. We did this in honor of our son, Jeremy, who we welcomed into the world 26 years ago as a daughter. We are committed to fighting the personal and institutional hate directed against him and other transgender people. Our personal relationships and love for individuals who are members of groups that are discriminated against drives our rejection of discrimination and prejudice and strengthens our resolve to do the right thing, to speak out against hate, and devote our time and resources to efforts to reduce discrimination and promote justice. We thank the ADL for supporting us and guiding us in our efforts, and for reminding us that justice and freedom and safety for one group of human beings can only be achieved by creating justice and freedom and safety for all groups. We really appreciate every single one of you in this room who have been working for a long, long time, many of you, to make the world a better place and ridding the world of hate. One of the truly wonderful things about our association with the ADL has been the opportunity to meet all of you and be inspired by you. So thank you all of you for your work. Thank you for this honor, and thank you for being our inspiration.